There we go. Hey guys, welcome to another episode. I have Danny Carlson with us from Kenji ROI. Danny, how's it going?
It's going good. Thanks for having me on here. It's probably exact opposite time zone as you. It's like 7:30 in the morning, and I know it's the evening over there for you there. So this will be a good conversation.
Yeah, we're getting ready to wrap things up over here at the warehouse, and you're starting your day with coffee. Cheers.
Cheers. You're still drinking the coffee there at the very end of the day.
Yeah, no, my days have it seems like it's never ending. There's always something that goes on, and then with my team, they're all over the world, so I feel like I'm always plugged in. But I can't complain. It's just the part of the game. Where are you currently?
So I've been living in Bali, Indonesia for the past 3 years or so. So that's exactly 12 hours time difference from New York, exact other side of the world, and just a really nice warm place to live. And I never really planned to live here. I just came here 3 years ago after living in the Philippines for 4 months before that. And my goal initially was to just live in Southeast Asia for the entire Vancouver winter, because I lived in Vancouver before, which is amazing, beautiful city, but just the winter gets a little bit sad and no sunshine for like 4 to 5 months or so. So I was originally going to come back after, but then I just never came back. And 3 years later, I'm still living in Bali.
Nice. That's amazing. Well, I usually start off the podcast with who is Danny, or who is our guest, and what does he do. We kind of got to know who Danny is, but what do you do?
Yeah, so Kenji ROI is the name of the agency. Had it for about 6 years. And 6 years ago, we started off just doing Amazon listing writing. So the writing and the keywords. And since then, we've expanded to do everything on the Amazon listing. So that's the product photography, product videos, video ads, the A+ content, storefront, pretty much anything that's on the Amazon pages, we create those for our clients. And then the other thing we do is Amazon ads management. So we're just totally focused on Amazon. And probably a thing that's a little bit different about us, like there's really not many companies that have been doing what we've been doing for as long. You know, there's plenty of different ones. But the thing that's different is that we don't just do product photography as an example, like, hey, tell us what photos you want and we'll make it. We do all the research to figure out what is going to get the best conversion rate and then craft each photo around that. So you're kind of getting the whole process that we developed over the last 6 years on a little more of a done for you service.
I see. Okay. I'll, just on a tangent, because you mentioned product photography and videography. Someone reached out to me yesterday, and maybe I'll forward this to you afterwards, but just to take a snippet of this and see if you guys can handle this. This is what they're asking for. They want 5 to 10 studio photos of a steamer, which is their product, and then the packaging by itself, packaging plus the steamer on the side, and then they want 5 to 10 lifestyle photos with and without models, including outdoor and indoor. I know that's a lot just on the spot to take in and consider, but let's say a client throws something like that to you guys. How would you synthesize and handle that?
Yeah, so we have clients similar to them. They sound like they have very specific needs. Some of our clients are like that. Most of our clients, they're not so sure what they want. They just want some photos that are going to work, and they have some rough ideas what they want. But to be honest, it is easier to work with the clients and know exactly what they want, like you just mentioned. I would say we usually consult with them a little bit because usually they have some ideas that either are going to be really expensive or unfeasible, right? As soon as you bring in some models and different shoot locations and stuff, and then they see the price tag for how much it's all going to cost to bring all of those different things together, there's usually some creative ways to kind of modify it to make it better. Or if we see that what they're asking for is missing some holes, right? Like one thing they mentioned, they're not really asking for infographics. And maybe they have like a graphic designer on their staff that is going to do the infographics, but we would probably mention that to them. Hey, you're asking for lifestyle images and these other ones, but no infographics. So it's usually a bit of a consultative process there, but everything they mentioned is things that we do.
I see. I like that. I really like that. And of course, just from hearing that, you won't know exactly, but I'm assuming getting on the call with the client, making sure you understand their needs, and then explaining your guys' take is that how that process works.
Yeah.
What is the mission or the purpose of Kenji? Like what's your passion and the mission for the company?
I mean, it's changed over the years, to be honest. Like when it started 6 years ago, the whole purpose was to just build an agency. Like that was it. That was something I had never done at the time. At the time I only, like I literally had one employee before I started the agency. That was my biggest company. I just had little freelancing businesses and stuff like that. And so that was my whole mission to start off. And then as it got bigger, it switched to two things. So one, it's satisfying to help our clients, get better results, and that's satisfying. But the thing that it didn't anticipate was the team. We have 25 employees now, and just creating that whole culture, and then the positive impact that it has on a lot of the team members. Like one of our team members got a tattoo of the Kenji ROI logo on his chest, which is and he did it without telling anybody. He just showed up one day to a call and just like showed off his Kenji ROI tattoo. So that's been an unexpected one for me.
Wow, I like that. When you have a good brand, when people are getting tattoos without anyone asking, or without someone losing a bet.
Yeah.
My the next question was going to be, what luxury and freedom has Amazon e-commerce, the agency, provided? But it's very clear from your story that going from Vancouver in the cold days into Bali is a luxury in and of itself. Do you think you could have done that with any other business or something else that you were doing in the past life before Amazon? Like, is Amazon that good of a vehicle, or e-commerce or agency model that good of a business vehicle that it's provided you this luxury? Or is there something else that can compete with this that you would want to look into?
Well, so I think agency is probably the safest bet for a lot of people. Amazon and e-commerce in general, it can be really good if you can get it working, but it can take time and capital to get things moving to a point where you're able to take money out, and it can be a little bit more volatile. Agency is always the bread and butter. You can be very stable. You can keep your costs much lower in the beginning. You don't have to go take out a loan to go start an agency or anything like that. And so that's a really good safe bet. For me, it was my escape from carpentry. Before I got into this, I was a carpenter for 6 years. And the other thing I was doing at the time was I was a professional downhill skateboarder, which, doesn't really make any money. So I was working part-time as a carpenter on the side as well. Like I was essentially just traveling the world and competing in downhill skateboard races while also making movies about that and making a little bit of money doing that. And those two things are kind of polar opposites. Carpentry is something you have to show up to the same job site every single day. There's no freedom. You can't just go move to a different city and retain your job. You have to get a completely different carpentry job. And longboarding was kind of the opposite of, yes, you have all this freedom. You get to travel everywhere, but you barely make any money. And you're just covering your expenses of traveling around and living basically. So I kind of got to taste those two opposites. And what the agency model has allowed me to do is to kind of take the best of both of those worlds and have the freedom and then also the income potential. And it has a much higher income potential than carpentry did. Like as I was a carpenter for 6 years, I'd kind of reached the ceiling of what I could earn as a carpenter unless I started my own company. So the ceiling was kind of already hit there.
I see. That's actually kind of insane to think from those two opposites into e-commerce and agency. That's crazy. Where is the current state of Kenji ROI, and what's your guys' vision for where it's going to go? Like what, what if someone asked Jeff Bezos in 95, what's your vision for Amazon? I'm sure he would be clear with it, or Tesla, or any of the other companies. What's your guys' vision for Kenji for the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, that's hard to say because right now we're kind of in a period where we are regrouping and refining. So 2020 and 2021 was a period of rapid growth, as most people in the e-commerce space went through the period of rapid growth during that period just due to the COVID situation. So that just caused us to be in a situation where we had to hire a lot of people really quickly, and the majority of our team during that time was new, right? Didn't have the experience and everything like that. So our focus over the last while, and probably for a good chunk of this year, is going to be really focused, refined, just like focus on changing some systems that we've kind of outgrown, training and getting everyone up to speed. Luckily, by this point, most of the team has a lot more experience now, so there's way less big team members. And it's also coming at a time in my life where a lot of you are going to find this kind of funny that I just turned 30 years old, but a lot of my values are really shifting. Like I almost feel like I'm going through like a midlife crisis of where I'm shifting. It no longer really motivates me to double the size of my business. It motivates me more to just be passionate about what I'm doing every day. So rather than focus on growth like it was a lot during 2020 and 2021, I was just really like, let's scale the sales team, let's scale the marketing and a lot of kind of stuff. I'm much more interested in refining, and I don't necessarily want to grow it bigger at this point. And I just want to make our product good and get things really sorted out there.
Nice. I like that. If you could hire, well, I want to do a two-part with this. One, what would you say, or who would you say is the key employee role? Doesn't need to be obviously a name or whatever, but what's the key employee role for Kenji right now? And then if you can snap your fingers and hire another role that would come in and add gas to the fire of what you guys are trying to do, who would that be, or who would that look like?
Yeah, so currently it's two people really, and they're both very important in their own regard. One is the creative director, so that is the person who is really in charge. They're ultimately responsible for the quality of the work that goes out, whether that's photography and everything like that. Training team members, making sure that things are on track with the actual production. And then the other person is the operations manager, who's a little bit more nitty gritty, just making sure like, deadlines and logistical roadblocks and those kind of things are really sorted out. Making sure, people are showing up, people are doing what's expected of them and things like that. Those two roles are very important. So I'm not sure that one is more important than the other in our case. A creative director, by the way, is going to be really specific to an agency that does a lot of creative work like we do, like the photography and the graphics and the writing and things like that.
Nice. I like that. Okay, switching gears here. What are your three most important things that any e-commerce entrepreneur has to do or has to be in order to be successful in this game? 3 to 5 things.
Yeah, I would say the first one, probably, it's going to sound really cheesy, but it's totally true, is just having the right expectations and mindset. So I've seen a lot of people get into trouble when they don't have the right expectations, as in they launch a product and they expect to be taking profit and paying themselves month 1 or month 2, right? I see a lot more success in the people who have the expectation from the beginning that, hey, I'm going to invest in this business and I'm not going to take out any money for a year. This is all just, if I make some mistakes and I have a little bit of buffer, and they're not expecting everything to go perfectly for that to work out, right? In their financial calculations, there's some wiggle room, right? So I think having the right mindset towards your expectations with realistically what you're going to get out of it is really important. And then I guess that kind of ties into the second one, which is just the persistence. It's honestly a fairly rare story that I hear out of the people who are just starting an Amazon e-commerce business, that the first product just took off like crazy and it's just working well. And then they launch a whole bunch of other products and these are all working great. It does happen. I've met a lot of people who have done it, but I've met a lot more people who launched the first product and it was a terrible idea that they only figured out after they launched it and learned a few things. And then they launched a second product and they did a better job with that and they learned a few things. So just the persistence. If it doesn't work the first time, don't just write everything off, right? It takes a lot of time and momentum to get things going in the first place. You want to make sure you get a return on all that time and capital you invested into this whole process, right? And then the third thing that I would say is it's very tempting to get into the gray hat and the black hat kind of tactics. And by that, I mean the things that might get you in trouble for Amazon, getting some fake reviews, doing some manipulation of your sales rank, doing some special kind of things that Amazon doesn't like, right? There's very big and loud communities out there that are pushing these tactics. And the thing about it is that they do work to some degree, right? But it's a very dangerous game to play. And what you don't see is a lot of the time is the people who have a lot of success and are very loud about it. And then you see their success, you're not going to see them be as loud about it when they get their account suspended or when they have to go, buy a new Amazon account and then try to, expensively move everything over to a new Amazon account. And, it's very difficult game to play. So I would just say, be careful with the gray hat and the black hat stuff.
Yeah, well said. And each one of those, you could have an entire course and a lecture around those, but I like that. It's very, very helpful. Switching gears again, just a fun question for me. If you could run any company in the world today, which one would it be?
Oh, that's a great question. I've never really thought about that before. What's interesting is the first things that come to mind are like Elon Musk companies, but then I've also thought about that a little bit. I would really, as much as I think it's amazing what he's doing, I don't envy his position at all. As he's been through so much, so many near bankruptcies with like massive projects and everything. I think I'd be interested to be CEO of something in the fintech space right now. I think that's a really interesting space that has a lot of potential, but has a lot of huge obstacles as well. And I really believe in right now the kind of fight between the decentralized fintech companies and the CBDCs, the central bank digital currencies. I think that's a very interesting battle that's going on right now. It's like freedom versus centralization that could have a massive impact on the future of the planet. So that's probably my answer. Some kind of one of these exciting fintech companies that focuses on decentralization.
Interesting. I really like that answer. And yeah, it's almost people are pioneering this, and who's going to win is going to depend on what people are doing today and what people have done yesterday. What would you say is your superpower or Kenji's superpower when it comes to e-commerce? I know you mentioned when you guys first started, it was, hey, our bread and butter is listing optimization. What is the superpower for Kenji right now?
Yeah, I'm not sure the answer has changed. I think it would still be listing optimization, as in not the superpower as in creating all of the listing assets. I guess a superpower, if you're to dive in on that a little bit more, would be to create the Amazon listings in a way that is going to be the most effective, right? Regardless of the inputs given to us.
I like that. I think that's like more than half of the battle is setting that up properly, and then after that it's getting eyeballs on it, which I'm sure you guys do with PPC and other marketing channels. or tactics. Nice. I really like that. I'm pretty sure people have already heard about Kenji. You guys, I used you guys 2016 for a listing. I remember that. So you guys have been around. What's the best way that people can reach out to you if they have questions, or just want to network and connect? What's your preferred way of communication?
Yeah, if you guys want to reach out about listing optimization or Amazon ads in general, just do that through the website. There'll be a contact box kind of in the upper right corner there, and they'll just ask you a few questions about what you need help with and things. That's probably the best place. If you want to just reach out to me personally, then you can do that on Facebook or Instagram. It's my handle there is I am Danny Carlson.
Awesome. Well, Danny, thank you so much for your time. I definitely want to connect with a few other people that have reached out to me for photography. I might just make a group chat with them and you. And yeah, I can't wait to just stay connected. And this e-com space in this world is very close knit. It's getting bigger, but there's just so much opportunity, and I can't wait to see what you guys are going to be doing in years to come.
Yeah, it's great to chat with you, Argan, and we'll get you on to my podcast here soon and pick your brain on a bunch of things.
Absolutely. I can't wait. All right, man. Have a good one, and we'll talk later.
All right. Cheers, man.
See you.